All right, first grade. So today we're going to be learning about 14.6. It is measuring using different units. Something that you'll notice is that in this video, they're going to be talking about using cubes and straws. We are going to be using cubes and crayons. So your assignment today is going to be cubes and crayons. So let's take a look at the video. I will be pausing and maybe answering some questions or asking some questions. Let's take a look and then I will show you your assignment. Here we go.
You can measure the length of an object in units such as cubes and straws. Measure the marker using cubes. 1, 2, 3. The marker is about 3 cubes long. The button is about 1 cube long. The paintbrush is about 1 straw long. What should you use to measure shorter objects, like this eraser?
Great. So, boys and girls, whenever we're measuring something that is a shorter object, something that is smaller, like materials in the classroom, we're talking about things like erasers, markers, even crayons or pencils. We would use smaller objects to measure it, like cubes.
Use a shorter unit, such as cubes, to measure shorter objects.
Notice how they talk about unit. A unit can be different kinds of objects. In this case, we're using a cube as a unit to measure the eraser.
What should you use to measure longer objects?
So if we have something that is much larger, like a longer object or something that we would use that's bigger, then we're going to use a unit that is much larger to measure those objects.
Like this bicycle. Use a longer unit, such as straws, to measure longer objects.
Well, you might be asking, well, why? Can I use cubes to measure a bicycle as well? You're absolutely correct. You could use cubes as well. The thing is, if you did use cubes, you might need a lot of cubes to measure something like a bicycle. If you use a longer unit, such as a straw or a crayon, you might need less of them, which makes it easier to measure.
Now you know how to measure the length of an object using different units like cubes and straws.
Great, and just a reminder, they talk about using cubes and straws. In our assignment today, you will be using cubes and crayons. So let's take a look at your assignment today. Today, directions for 14.6 say estimate the length with the object provided to measure. That means that use the object that has been given to you to measure. Let's take a look at this one. We have cubes here. What that means is that you're going to drag a cube and you're going to measure the straw, or you might even think it's like a candy cane, and measure it using the cubes. Now, boys and girls, something that we have noticed in the assignments before is that when we are measuring, we want to make sure that they are really close together. Notice how I make them very close together. If there is a lot of space between them like this, then it might not be an accurate one, all right? Now, as you can see right here, it says to estimate first. Remember, estimate is a good guess. So I want to know how many units of cubes would it take to measure this? I think it's going to be 7. Once I estimate, I will actually measure it just like how I showed you, and then you will write the answer of how many cubes it actually was. Now, you will see that you have a few of them that require you to use cubes with different objects. At the bottom here, remember that if it's an object that is bigger, we're going to use something that is longer to measure it. So here it says use crayons to measure. Remember, you will always estimate first, and then you will actually measure. There are a few examples using crayons. You will get to the bottom here, and you will have something that says which is the better estimate for the height of the vase. We want to know this part right here. What do you think would be better to estimate that? You will type your answer right here, just like I did. Once you are done, you will go down and you have multiple choice down here. Boys and girls, I have a letter next to each answer. You pick the letter that you think is correct and you type the letter right here. If you have any questions on this assignment or having trouble understanding how to measure units, measuring objects, you can always ask. I'm here to help. Otherwise, good luck. We are almost done with this chapter. We will be reviewing soon and practicing as well if we need.